Hello, and welcome to a new thing that I'm doing, which is really an old thing that I used to do on the website I used to help run, but I got the rights back, so I am now bringing back to the people, by not popular demand, because I wanted to, the Level Design Hall of Fame, which is a series of videos where I take a look at exemplary levels from video games, or missions, or stages, or whatever I determine, tracks from racing games, and I sort of highlight them and talk about why I like them, and then induct them into a Level Design Hall of Fame. So our first inductee of this new set is Dark Souls, and specifically Sen's Fortress. So I wanted to do a quick video on that, and then I guess I'll upload older videos that I'll have to sort of edit because the audio is a little shitty, and there's some weird stuff going on. But initially, I wanted to focus on a game that I had played and loved to death in between when I stopped doing the first series of Hall of Fame videos and now that I wanted to do, so I had to jump on it. Sen's Fortress is this fortress that is sort of... It's available at the beginning of the game and you see it, but you never go to it, and it's the sort of like halfway point in Dark Souls, and it's a really great test for everything that you've learned. You gotta show your work. You gotta prove to the game that you know what you're doing. So let's look at the gameplay. So yeah, this castle's been here and you see it, and the gate's always been closed, and you finally get to go through it once you ring the bells or whatever, and it is like Bowser's castle. It's just this big, intimidating thing, and you're not quite sure what's inside, and then boom, right off the bat, that's a plate that you step on, and then arrows come out, so there are just traps everywhere. And Sen's Fortress is very good at establishing that there are traps everywhere, death is around every corner, and there are ambushes, and there's multiple enemies in packs, there are single enemies in very precarious places. It gives you a good variety of threats. And it really teaches you to study your environment and be patient, and to... it's sort of like... It challenges you, but it rewards you, and it also punishes you very effectively. And it lays all these, like, secrets all around, and it sort of shows you, like, oh, there are places you can go, and there's things you can collect, but there's also... if you screw up, there are big troubles coming your way. One of those is interesting, is that you can go up Sen's Fortress. You spiral up to get to the top, to the boss, but you can also go downwards. And there are lots of little secret areas that are both good and bad, and if you get knocked off by these giant swinging axes, you fall into this like black tar where you can't walk fast, and you have to deal with very big enemies. And that's really great to show you, like, yeah, you screwed up, or you can go down there and take them on if you're feeling bold, if you're feeling risky. But yeah, you gotta learn how to effectively kill enemies quickly, because you're under pressure constantly. People are throwing arrows or lightning bolts. There's always something coming at you, so you got to be quick on your toes. And it's just this perfect little like just video game like test of skill. They put chests right near those traps, so if you didn't learn from the first trap, the second trap, there's a chest there to show you, like, okay, like, don't fuck up and walk into this stupid arrow trap again. It is just so good at just condensing these little Dark Souls learning moments and sort of presenting them to you in one level. And I also really like that everything is just so tightly designed, and other places in other areas of the game, it's very sprawling and it's very hit or miss. So there are areas later in the game that I don't like as much as areas in the beginning of the game. It is just really cool to just get it all in a very tight little package. Where every hallway leads to something, everywhere goes somewhere, everything is... You work your way back on itself, and there's shortcuts. I mean, none of this is new for Dark Souls, but it is just more of it in one place, sort of like mile a minute. And I also like that there's a sort of story thing going on with Sen's Fortress, where like there are giants everywhere, and they are throwing boulders, and the boulders are sort of like working to run Sen's Fortress as a sort of deterrent. And there's the secret area, if you find early on, if you go up this ladder, where you fight this giant. You're like, oh, cool, there's a giant, I can kill him for some extra souls or whatever. But then those giants show up later, so it sort of teaches you, like, yeah, like, get used to it now, because there's more coming. And they're there for story reasons, and they're also just there for gameplay reasons. So you can just imagine these giants have been there, like running Sen's Fortress, and Sen's Fortress feels like a place that exists. Like somebody designed Sen's Fortress and made it, and that place probably would exist if it wasn't in a game. Like everything like makes sense. There are tables and like it's just like it almost feels like a home. Whereas like Metroid Prime, if you like go through that game, it feels like someone made it because it's a video game. Like things explode in the right places and your morph ball can go through. I can see the strings being pulled, and that doesn't feel like that in Sen's Fortress. And there's so right here, that moment, if you see that window and that boulder hits that serpent dude, like that's just so beautiful. Like I love that moment where you see it happen and it teaches you like, yeah, there are giant boulders coming. Like that guy got fucked and you don't want to get fucked. So you got to learn how to like run through and sort of like there's a risk reward to like where the boulders are coming from, and then you learn how to like deal with like what direction the boulders are going. But then if you send them in different directions, they open up new areas to go through and find more secrets. And Sen's Fortress also has a lot of the chests that become monsters that eat you. So it teaches you just like, yeah, we're going to give you a chest early to, you know, get you into this false sense of security so that you might end up getting fucked by one of these mirage chests that becomes a monster. One of them gives you a lightning spear, I think that's coming up, which is a great weapon that is sort of OP, but that's not Sen's Fortress's fault. And yeah, it is just so there's just moment after moment, and there's just so many like fun little trolls everywhere. And what's great is that you can like see Sen's Fortress in multiple ways, so you can see the sense of progress you've made. Like you're going up and you see where you've come from downwards. You can fall to your death. There are some times where you actually have to sort of fall great heights to get to some cool places, and you can look up and see where you're going. And there's these steel cages that sort of send you up and down, which is really great. And I feel like the only problem with Sen's Fortress is the boss, which is sort of a pushover. I mean, it's thematically right. There's a giant, but he's sort of easy to kill. But that bonfire is a nice dividing point, so that like initially it's very cramped and it's claustrophobic and you're in the interiors, and then you finally make it out and you're outdoors. And you get these great vistas of where you've been and where you fought the gargoyles and where you're going to Honor Londo, and then people are pelting you with giant boulders and arrows, and you're running around and you're seeing like other knights who have done the same trip as you, so you get the sense that like people have tried to conquer this place. Like there's a guy named Ricard, he's got a rapier, you don't know why he's there. He's trying to do what you're doing, he tries to kill you, you kill him, you take his weapon. It's just so great. And there's even a part, I think it's coming up, where you make this jump, you make this leap, you're like, oh, can I get over there? Can I jump this gap and go over to this other tower? And then sure enough, there's a merchant there who sells fucking large Titanite shards, which is good, because I think he's the only one who does that early on in the game. There are just so many aspects of Sen's Fortress that I really love, and it's just, there's so many things all in one place, and it's just the most jam-packed, fun, trollish sort of slice of Dark Souls you could possibly imagine. Oh, there's that guy I was talking about. And it's my favorite level. It's the every time I make a new playthrough, like that's where I want to get to, and then I also want to go through Honor Londo. But Honor Londo has a bunch of really dumb bullshit that I think is like not even fair, as I think everything in Sen's Fortress is fair. I think everything is fair game once you step in and you learn what Sen's Fortress is and what it's got inside of it. And I think that's great. And I just wanted to show you guys why it is a inductee of the Level Design Hall of Fame. You're going to see some older videos coming up on this channel, my channel, of older videos that I did of games that made it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and you can follow me on Twitter at JaredRusso. Give me suggestions, tell me why I'm wrong. You know, I can take it. Send me whatever you got. And until then, I'm going to start pumping out more of these. I hope you guys play some of the games that you see, if you're interested, or maybe you were sort of interested and you weren't quite sure, and maybe I helped convince you over, or maybe you think I'm a total idiot. I don't care. Whatever. So until then, thanks for watching.